What's up, guys? We're going to play on chess.com here. We're playing a rapid game against none other than my nemesis, Letchworthshire. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I got white. You all know what I should play. Now, normally I play g4 here, right? But I'm burning some time here because I realize that, of course, that's probably going to lose. So I'm going to try to play something that drags the game out. Let's play something like hyper modern. Let's just bring out the knights and see where this goes. This is not really the best way to play, I don't think. It's certainly not the most aggressive, but I just want to play something where maybe I can make it out of the opening against this guy, because Letchworthshire is always killing me. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know that this guy has been just brutal, and I am sick of getting crushed. So I am going to just play kind of almost like black, first of all. I'm not like being aggressive, and I just want to get my pieces out there before I get destroyed. Last time I didn't actually post a video, but the last game against Letchworthshire, he brought out his knights like he's doing now, and he got my super majors all tangled up, and next thing you know, he got like a nasty attack and checkmate, and it just was not nice. So let's see, we got lots of time here, 10 minutes with 5-second increment, and there's just no rush. Yeah, this is one of those positions where it's like, well, what do I do now? Like, if I push my pawns in the middle, it gives him outposts for his knights. So that's tough. Let's see, let's play something. Well, okay, I don't want him to just be able to bring out his pawn to d5. So I think let's play like a non-committal move. I'll just play the bishop here. Okay, so yeah, you see we're both playing kind of non-committal moves. Now, since he's already burned a tempo going to d6, I don't feel too bad just going here to that's f3. Yeah. All right, now you see he's real good at getting these pawns out in the middle to annoying spots. I do have something. Remember, I talked about if you push those pawns in the middle all the way, you create outposts, right? So now I can kind of get this bishop move here. Would you call it a bishop lunge? I forget, there was another name that Ed had for putting a bishop out there. So Ed Trice, the inventor of Gothic chess, he comes up with these pretty nifty names for different moves and openings. And when you put that bishop out there and it just gets kicked, he calls that the bishop lunge. But when it actually goes to a good spot like that, he doesn't call it a lunge. But unfortunately, I can't remember what he called it. Maybe he can put it in the comments section since he usually comments on these videos anyway. Okay, wow, so he's hitting my bishop, but it's guarded. Alright, what should we do here? I guess I'll just castle. When in doubt, right? Okay, he did the same thing. Alright, so now that we've castled, we can be a little bit more liberal with pushing pawns out there and not being so much worried about, say, over fianchetted bishops checking my king and that sort of thing. Okay, so he's taking a little time here. That's good. Now, one thing you'll notice is that when I take a long time on my moves, and there's that outpost thing. See, so I already kind of goofed. And wow, so looks like I already got kind of screwed here. I'm actually completely forced to bring my bishop back, or else I just lose my archbishop. Can you believe that? My archbishop was practically checkmated there. Um, so when I take a long time on my moves, it usually means that I don't have any clue what I should do. But when Letchworthshire, or any strong player for that matter, takes a long time to make a move, it generally means that they're plotting your demise and calculating some nasty combination. And here, he doesn't really have to do any plotting at all. I just kind of hung my b-pawn like an idiot. I don't know. I don't think that's a poisonous pawn, so I think if I were black, I would just snap it. The fact that I'm talking while I'm playing, actually, my play is already bad enough, but when I talk, I think I actually get worse. So I hung that b-pawn, and wow, you didn't take it. So it's one thing about strong players, too, is that you give away a pawn and they don't take it. And you say, well, Is it because I actually didn't give it away, and so it was okay that, I lost, I didn't really hang it, or is it because they think that I sacrificed it on purpose? But I don't know. I think I hung it and he could have taken it. Maybe he's just being nice. But then again, Letchworthshire has never really been nice to me, so I was about to play c3, but I feel like I'll play this move instead. Let's play d4. Okay, wow, okay, I totally and completely did not see that move coming. So that opens that long diagonal, which they're all kind of long diagonals starting out in Trice's chess. But that c8 to j1 diagonal is now open toward my king side, and that's one of the things that I really like about Trice's chess is that the bishops start out basically fianchetted from the get-go, and the board's a very wide board, so that just really works to their advantage. So the bishops are that much stronger in this game than the knights are. But then there's a flip side of that, and that is that with the knights being weaker, they can do stuff like this. See where he's like forking my bishop and archbishop. The knights are almost like pawns in a way. You gambit them and you attack with them. So here I am being forced yet again. It's just nasty. Letchworthshire is so good with those knights. So if you go on chess.com and look up my history of games, and there's been some doozies in there lately, and one of them was definitely the last game against Letchworthshire where he brought out his knights and literally moved no pieces but his knights and then just kicked me all over the board and humiliated my super major pieces and finally my king. It was pretty gross. And that's why I didn't post a video. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, he kind of combinated on me. If I take that pawn, then I've got the numbers, but I lose an archbishop for a minor piece, and that's a huge loss. So basically, I just hung a pawn that way. Which, considering I had hung a pawn earlier, I basically deserved to lose a pawn. So where do I go with the archbishop? So many choices, but also so many bad ones. Don't know where to go. I'll just go there. Well, the game's already going pretty badly. I'm down a pawn, but it is a doubled pawn. But it's getting pretty ugly. Hmm. That pawn in the middle of the board is just a real pain in the tuchus. So I guess I'll just put the pawn there and see. Maybe he wants to, like, I'm down a pawn, but we'll trade or something. I try to open up some lines. All right, now that's interesting, because now he'll have a passed pawn, and that's bad. But then he'll have isolated doubled pawns, so that's not so bad for me. And I can open up lines by taking it, so I really don't think there's any disadvantage to taking it. I've technically already given him a passed pawn if he wants it. Although he can't really play d3 off the bat because I can chop it with my chancellor. Okay, so we're 9 minutes in. This is probably longer than I've lasted against Letchworthshire maybe ever in a real-time game. Okay, wow. Okay, so I expected that, of course, and I'd like to do that with my chancellor, but my bishop's in the way. This is so crazy. So where's the attack? I mean, I feel like he's just giving me that pawn back in a way, right? I didn't actually lose my C or D pawn, whichever way you want to refer to that pawn on D4 right now. So I don't see an attack yet. Oh, okay, I see what he's doing. So he can play bishop takes J2, and if I take with the knight, then that opens up I2 to his chancellor and his bishop, so we got problems. Okay, so I guess I can This knight right here isn't really doing a whole lot. So we'll just go here and guard against that. Things are getting pretty dicey already. Letchworthshire's pieces are all pretty poised to come at me. His archbishop isn't doing a whole lot yet. Let's see. The d-pawn is toast. Does he take it with a knight? Probably, right? Why would he take it with the pawn and double his pawn? So I would certainly expect knight takes d4 unless he's got some nasty attacking move. Okay, wow. Okay, so he's really hammering down on that j2 pawn. It's going to pretty much force either I3 or j3. Not a whole lot I can do there. So I think we all know I'm going to probably have to just pony up the j3 pawn. Because g3 is just going to weaken my, or I3 is going to weaken my light squares way too much. Don't think I could survive that. And even when you get that pawn on I3, you think, oh, it's guarded twice or whatever, but it can still get sacked on a couple times. So seems like j3 is the way to go. But I think if I play j3, then he's going to push his g pawn, and then he'll have the ability to actually sack a super major on j3 and rip open the king side completely. So yeah, it's crazy. This is why I don't like playing against guys like Letchworthshire, because it's like, how do you even defend this position? It's like, did I do anything really that badly, except of course hanging the pawn on the queen side a couple times? But here I am just waiting for him to just tear things open, and how can I possibly guard? Now, one thing that's crossing my mind is, what if I played j4? I think I'll play j4, because j3 looks like just death is imminent, and I3 is like way too weak for the light squares. So we'll just try this. It's probably going to lose, but we'll try to make it like a fighting defense or something. And fortunately, if he takes on h3 with his bishop, I can recapture with a knight and still guard that j4 pawn. Okay, so he's taking it. Did you notice I am down on time, but Letchworthshire's actually used a lot of time too. Okay, that's the move I was expecting, especially if I'd played j3, because I figured he would just like throw away his archbishop or his chancellor and just tear me up with all the other pieces that are coming down, attacking me. So now, I guess I better, I don't know, this is tough. I feel like I need to play g4, but you know, I've still got that stupid d-pawn hanging over there, so it's like, what do I do? But I feel like the only way to try to close things off, hopefully for a little while, is to go ahead and play this move, g4. So my d-pawn's still hanging, and it's like torture to not be able to guard it in any way. But I just don't have the time, you know. So there you go. I'm surprised he didn't take with a knight, but he does have a passed pawn now. Okay. So let's see. I feel like I need to go somewhere with my chancellor, just anywhere, because I kind of want to use that dark square diagonal and maybe attack his chancellor over there on j6. So, okay, I'm just going to go here. It's probably a bad move. Oh, you know what? He'll probably play knight to e5. And he's like, oh, I can take the pawn, but then he gets a nasty discovery. Speaking of which, I basically just walked into a fork with that move, because now he's hitting my g-pawn, and there's no way to really guard it. This is bad news. Okay, well, at least I can get my chancellor over to that side of the board, I guess, but, mm, hmm. Don't know where to go with the chancellor. There's not a whole lot of good options. This is bad, but I think I'm just going to actually go back here and try to get out of the way. So it's like I just hopped from the right side to the left side of my queen. Alright, so there you go. Now his knight's cooking. He's got the bishop coming down. Alright, so the whole point of me doing any of this stuff was to just go over here and get a little pot shot in on his Chancellor with my Archbishop. So yeah, it was pretty sad, but I was trying to do something. My super majors aren't half as active as his are. Especially his Chancellor's in such a great spot, and my Chancellor's in kind of a dumb spot. Okay, yeah, so I expected that move, and I knew that the Archbishop is guarding the bishop on g2. So, he's hitting my queen, but I can take his Chancellor with check and wreck his pawns. I have a difficult time thinking that's a bad idea because I can always get my queen out of trouble and guard my bishop. So we'll just go here, and it's with check, that's the key. Otherwise, he might be able to play knight takes d1. Okay, so now I got two pieces en prise. I need to do something about my bishop and my queen. They are being forked, and that bishop's not even guarded. So, let's see, I guess I have problems here. If I play like queen to e2, he can play bishop to g4 and kick me around. Maybe get a tempo or something. So, queen d2 looks kind of good. I think that's the only move. There you go, guys. Queen d2. Hey, look at this. We're on move, what, 27? I really feel like this is way deeper in the game than I usually make it with Letchworthshire. So we're in kind of deep waters now. He just opened that dark square diagonal toward my king, and now my knight's got to run. So that's not good. And then his Archbishop's champing at the bit to jump into the fray here. I don't know. I guess I had no other place to go with that knight. It's going to be a problem because my poor bishop is... Well, you know what? The bishop is now guarded by the knight on f4, so I could actually guard that knight with maybe knight to e2, and I wouldn't totally hang that bishop on g2. So I'm using my little pointer with my hand. So you see the hand here is on f4. And yeah, I kind of wish they showed notation along here. When you play over the board, especially in on any kind of an 8x8 official board with the U.S. Chess Federation or wherever, they always show the notation. You don't see the notation in here, which would really be helpful for a variant, like a 10x8 variant, including Trice's Chess, or Gothic Chess as it's called here on chess.com, the old name. Okay, so my poor h-pawn is not looking too great unless I guard it, but if I guard it, then my light squares get crazy weak. So, do I just let the pawn hang and try not to weaken my kingside too much as a result? Or do I play i3 and let my light squares get completely super weakened, and he can probably sack on i3 and that sort of thing? So it's a bad choice all around. However, one thing you might notice is that I'm completely running low on time now, so I only have like a minute and 12 seconds with 5 seconds per move. So I can try to build up my time to get back into it time-wise, but I'm down by 4 minutes and the position's bad. So, yeah, probably going to lose, but I made it. Let's see, we'll make it to move 30. I feel confident he's not going to checkmate me in the next 2 moves, or at least in the next move, so I can't get to move 30. So since I don't see a mate in 1 on the board, although against Letchworthshire, I've had 1 or 2 games where I actually missed mate in 1. I saw it after I moved. I was like, oh, he has mate in 1. So, that happens, and you always laugh at someone if they walk into a mate in 1 and 8x8 chess, right? You should know better. But in Trice's chess and variants like that, sometimes you make a move and you're like, huh. And then you realize, like, a minute later, you're like, oh, I just walked into mate in 1. So hopefully I didn't do that. But assuming I don't get mated in the next move, then I'll make it to move 30, which very possibly is the farthest I've ever made it into a game with Letchworthshire. If you check out some of my other videos, you'll see where I've had some really interesting games. There was one game where I actually got my favorite cheapo against Letchworthshire, and I thought for sure I had him toasted. But then he battled back and kind of embarrassed me. I didn't even know he was that good at the time. So I'm like, who is this guy? And, I thought I was going to just crush him because of the... well, this game's over now because he can just play queen takes j4. So it's pretty much over. You guys got that. So you see he's got the pin on the i3 pawn. And then the queen taking here will be immune from capture, and now he's got everything covered, and I'm so screwed. Yeah, I don't know what else I could do here. Oh no, I could push this pawn here. Trying to mess with him so I could, like, take his queen or something. Shoot, I got nothing better. I'm just going to try. Oh, he's got a discovery with the Archbishop taking. So he just takes here with a double check. And then I don't see a mate, but I lose a rook. And I have, like, one legal move. So anybody see a checkmate here? See Archbishop here, check. Is that mate? That's mate, isn't it? Yeah, that's mate. Okay, well, I made it to move 32. Alright, guys, well, that was fun, and there goes a few more rating points out the window. I guess, you know, one of these days, maybe I'll make it up higher, but yeah, I wonder where, before we end the video, let's go see what, Letchworthshire's, rank is, and maybe mine for that matter. I think, didn't I make it to number 5 on the leaderboard? So let's jump out of here, and, let's go to the leaderboard. Okay, so I'm at number 3. Wow, so I got a trophy, you guys. What? I got a trophy. Oh, I guess I better jump off here. I got a call. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Like and subscribe.